Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Coming to my house tonight. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles.
Hi, my name is John Harnois, and I have what I call Harnois Farms. And I raise ducks, geese, chickens, turkeys, and I have Narragansett turkeys. I have white turkeys for Thanksgiving. There's probably about maybe 8 different breeds of heritage turkeys, and I like the Narragansett, so that's what I do. There's also blue slates, Royal Palms, Bourbon Reds, Black Spanish, and some Hollands, and wild turkeys, of course. So these guys, the heritage birds, they'll be between 6 pounds dressed, means after their process, between 6 pounds and 16, and I've had them for 7 months. These will dress out between 14 and 25 pounds, and I've had them for 4 months. They were bred to grow quickly. But because they get so big and they have the broad breasts, hence the term broad-breasted whites, or broad-breasted bronze is another of the big ones, they can't do the deed. So they use artificial insemination. But the heritages still can. And one reason to keep the heritages going is to keep the genetics going. Because of the white turkeys, I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe there's only 2 strains of the white turkeys. And if something happens to those strains, we're screwed. And what do you do? And if you don't have the heritages to go back and start drawing on the genetics, what do you do? So that's why I raise them. Plus there's a demand for them, there's a market for them. So these are meat chickens. There's around 400 or so, and they hatched out about 2 weeks ago, and in about another 6-7 weeks they will go from being chickens to chicken. I grew up in Flat Rock till I was 12, and then the city of Detroit. Every once in a while I think about it, how did I get here? I mean, how did I'm a city kid, but I spent 16 years living in a house in Farmington Hills. It was a 200-year-old farmhouse. It was the last vestiges of ruralness there. And there was a neighbor who lived in a converted barn for the place. And he had everything. I remember one day, and I didn't forget, one day I was cooking breakfast in my kitchen. All of a sudden I heard a turkey gobbling. And I'm like, oh my God, there's turkeys? There's turkeys? And I go outside and it says, oh yeah, Clarence's turkeys. I just forgot, but he had goats when I first moved out there. He had chickens, ducks. He always had ducks and geese. And some of that must have rubbed off. The turkeys are much closer to wild, and they don't want to be in a building at all, and they want to be outside. So you really have to herd them. Eventually, I learned to put a light on inside so they're not going into a black hole, and also to make a chute so you can kind of herd them in. But before then, it was always a pain to deal with them to get them in, but I did. And Nicholas was right there herding them with me. And he was a kid. He weighed less than they weighed. And he took absolutely no guff from them at all. He was great. He herded them in, and he just moved them. He is a natural. Nicholas is the hardest working kid I've ever met, and he's an amazing kid. And I don't know how I would do this without him. Okay, you ready to go with your flock? From John and Nick Harnois at Harnois Farms, we hope everybody has a wonderful, happy Thanksgiving. Okay. Thank you.
Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Gobble, 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 that turkey gobbles. Coming to my house tonight. Gobble, gobble, gobble.